magic, mystery, mayhem. This is the tale of one peculiar fantasy cartoon. I put it off for years, but its spirit was calling out to me. If I didn't watch it, my soul would be cursed forever. So, I finally watched The Owl House. The Owl House is a coming-of-age fantasy series from Disney. It's about Luce, a socially inept teenager who accidentally lands herself inside the demon world. With the help of a crazy witch and her pet fox, Luce trains to become a master witch. At the same time, a self-righteous wizard plans on stirring trouble in both the demonic and human realms. Can Luce stop him in time? Originally, I wasn't gonna touch this show. Disney's television animation hasn't impressed me as of late. They start off relatively strong, and then fall off a cliff. But I heard that The Owl House is just as good, if not better than Gravity Falls. That's one hell of a claim, but it was enough to pique my interest. Let's analyze the merits of Disney's weirdest cartoon, but beware, full spoilers ahead. Now eat this, sucker!
Now eat this, sucker!
In modern-day America, an outcast teenager pulls a bunch of wild stunts at her high school.
Bleep, bloop, bleep.
Yeesh. No wonder she got in trouble. For her punishment, she's sentenced to summer school. However, she takes a slight detour. Luce Noceda is a 14-year-old tomboy with a big heart. Back at school, Luce's classmates shunned her for her eccentric hobbies. Fantasy books, anime music videos. Luce is initially lonely, but her upbeat attitude keeps her going. Luce stumbles upon a strange owl and follows it into an alternate dimension. She arrives at the Boiling Isles, a place filled with witches and demons. Luce drops her jaw at this strange culture. Wandering around, she bumps into some sketchy street vendors. A witch, her owl staff, and King the Cubone. King. For real, he kinda does look like a Pokemon. They sell repurposed human junk, but they don't have a permit. Who is the mastermind behind this scheme? It's none other than Edalyn Clawthorne. Eda is a sarcastic middle-aged witch who doesn't play by the rules. She's great at conjuring a wide array of spells. Underneath her sassy persona, Eda struggles with a curse from her youth. If she doesn't drink demonic orange juice, she'll turn into a fearsome beast. Eda has a no-craps-given attitude, yet she slowly takes responsibility in keeping Luce and King safe. That won't stop Eda from decorating her hideout. The Owl Gang's place of operation is the titular Owl House. It's a giant cottage hidden at the edge of town. And by hidden, I mean it has a public mailbox. Not exactly the best way to hide. The wizard cops know exactly where Eda lives, but they wouldn't want to mess with her advanced security system. Hootie is a magic tube guy who's attached to Eda's front door. Hootie is jovial and talkative, but doesn't have many friends. He's voiced by Alex Hirsch, but in a falsetto tone. Hirsch also voices Marowak, Mini Bill Cipher. King.
Hoot! I'm on the floor! It's cold!
That voice, that horrific voice!
For those who don't know, Hirsch voiced like half the characters in his own show, Gravity Falls. I'm surprised he had restraint for this cast. Well, he only has 2 major roles in this show, so. King is a tiny demon boy with an enormous ego. He enjoys bossing people around, but no one takes him seriously. Before Luce arrived, King was an abandoned infant rescued by Eda. King is insecure with himself, but slowly kindles a close bond with Luce and her friends. The show nails that found family dynamic. Luce, King, and Eda start off as an awkward group of weirdos. Over time, we understand how their flaws and insecurity inform their actions. Luce is a fish-out-of-water sister, King is a troublemaking brother, and Eda is the single mom who's barely holding things together. They might argue a ton, but they legitimately have each other's backs. Meanwhile, Luce decides to join Team Eda for the summer. To be Eda's witch apprentice, Luce must pass the tutorial quest. The Owl Trio stages a heist at Dollar Store Azkaban. They get captured by Warden Wrath.
I can hear you.
Wait, is that Roger Craig Smith? What's he doing here?
I want you to go out with me.
What?
The voice of Sonic the Hedgehog was one of Eda's ex-boyfriends. Didn't expect that on my Halloween bingo card, but whatever.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
The Owl Gang defeats the Warden and returns with the grand prize, King's plastic Burger King crown. Hey, don't ruin the little guy's parade. Luz officially becomes Ida's apprentice and agrees to stay at her place during the summer. The pilot episode of the Owl House starts off with a bang. In the span of 22 minutes, we know Luz, her motivations, and why she get along with the other misfits. The pilot is funny, well-paced, and it's just a great vertical slice for the rest of the season. Did I mention the theme song is a straight-up banger? Season 1 follows a serialized narrative. The Owl Gang encounters a troublesome wizard or demon, but they learn a life lesson. Luz interacts with demon culture, befriends the local witches her age, and discovers a grand conspiracy with the Dollar General Ministry of Magic. Season 1 is solid from a writing standpoint. In the span of 19 episodes, it packs a lot of crucial development for not only Luz, but for the supporting cast. But just to be clear, this video won't be a full-blown plot recap. I'm just gonna cover the highlights. Early in Season 1, Luz struggles to cast magic. She can't do the Doctor Strange circle effect like most witches. Instead, she discovers that she can activate magic by jotting down nature's symbols. Find the light symbol, you get a spear of light. She combines the fire and ice glyphs like she's playing a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's honestly kind of a cool system. I'll get back to the magic system later, but here's what you need to know. It was so satisfying seeing her grow by using her wits. Thankfully, Season 2 takes Luz to new heights. After barely surviving Season 1's boss battle, the Owl Gang is broken, both mentally and monetarily. Ida loses her magic powers and must conjure spells by other means. King finds a lead into his mysterious past. If successful, he'll be able to find his missing father, and get to the true nature of his lineage. Meanwhile, Luz gets into a beef with Belos, the Emperor of the Boiling Isles. He earned that title, by the way, yet don't mess with him. Last time, Luz thwarted his plan of returning to the human realm. This time, he's gonna go full Thanos on all life forms in the demon realm. Yeah, not the best choice, Luz. This dude is both fascinating and terrifying. Belos is a master wizard with delusions of grandeur. Back in the 17th century, he was a human scholar named Philip. For whatever reason, Philip and his brother got stuck in the demon realm. He tried to study their culture, but the witches didn't like mankind very much. He responded the same way. As an act of revenge, Philip took an alter ego and used his charm to conquer the Isles. He instituted the Coven system in order to maintain order, minus Ida disobeying his every whim. Belos plans on wiping out demonkind and returning to Earth as the vanquisher of all evil. Belos is unnerving due to his mixture of a sleazeball politician and an unhinged maniac. He claims to be compassionate to his henchmen. In reality, he only gives a damn about himself. The Owl House doesn't downplay his evil deeds. This dude has been consuming the souls of wooden sticks for, I don't know, 500 years or something? The Owl Gang discovers that Belos is planning the Day of Unity. The gang doesn't know the specifics, but considering his track record, it's gonna be bad. At the same time, Luz feels guilty for barely getting Ida out of death's door. Moreover, Luz ghosted her mother back on Earth for about a month. Yikes. Can the Owl Gang stop Belos in time? Season 2 was a massive upgrade. The writing tackles heavier subject matter, the characters get more depth, and the production design gets a leg up. With most of the character stuff out of the way, let's focus on the technical aspects. The fight scenes range from okay to actually amazing. It would have been so easy to animate two wizards standing in a circle and mashing X for about 5 minutes. Think of the Draco and Harry duel in Harry Potter 2. The Owl Gang goes down a much spicier path. The show uses a soft magic system. The power of a given spell depends on the mental acuity of the witch. The rules are simple. Spells are cast by two methods: drawing a Doctor Strange circle or activating symbols on paper. Both methods require deep concentration in order to work. The larger the circle is drawn, the bigger the effect. The show offers many magic disciplines in the form of covens. Covens are basically witch factions / castes. Each coven specializes in potions, clay monsters, healing, etc. The law of the land requires you to join a coven and to never perform spells outside of that discipline. If you're caught mixing and matching different spell types, you're gonna go to the Shadow Realm. Ida doesn't give a crap about the rules, so she just performs whatever magic she wants. The most common spell types are illusions, plant life, fire, ice, and purple clay. Similar to Pokemon, witches can combine and counter these various types. The only limit is the finesse and stamina of the spellcaster. It's not the most complex system in the world, but it gives a solid framework for the action. The rules are simple, the magic types make sense, and it allows for creative storyboarding. One of my favorite action scenes occurs halfway through Season 2. In the episode Eclipse Lake, one of Luce's witch friends gets into a duel against Bellus's right-hand man. Don't worry, I'll get to these two in a little bit. The Good Witch exploits her clay magic to mold a shield, a pair of knuckles, and her own version of the Pokemon Muck. In retaliation, the guard uses his powers of laser shards and short-range teleportation. It's a mini-game of magic chess. It's short, sweet, and effective. Moreover, the fight choreography is fantastic. It's dynamic, well-framed. Granted, some scenes got a bigger budget than others, but when it goes all out, it delivers.
Stay away from my loot!
Amity?
Okay. I had to address this part eventually, so let's just get it over with. In Season 1, Luce becomes a student at Hogwarts, Hexside School of Magic. Her first classmate is Augustus Porter, an excitable wizard who dabbles in illusions. Gus has a wild appreciation for human culture, but he is the frequent target of bullies. His other friend is Willow Park, a kind-hearted girl who can manipulate plant life. Willow is bubbly, but often doubts her own abilities. Luce eventually teaches Gus and Willow that they don't have to take crap from anybody, especially the bullies at Hexside. After a few life-threatening classes, they all become besties.
Wait, were we just having a tea party in Animal Jammies?
What happens in the montage stays in the montage.
Gus and Willow educate Luce on witch etiquette, while Luce teaches them about her crazy experiences back on Earth. At first, I really enjoyed the friendship between Gus, Willow, and Luce. Gus and Willow keep Luce down to earth, while Luce's outgoing personality pushes them to get out of their comfort zone. The problem is that Gus and Willow's development is kinda sporadic. In Season 1, they appeared consistently. In Season 2, they disappear for large chunks of time. These two are supposed to be Luce's wingmen, but they get demoted out of nowhere. I swear, their arcs are cryogenically frozen until the Golden Guard befriends them. You know, the right-hand man for the bad guy. It's so weird, it sticks out like a sore thumb, man. Then again, the writers had other plans. Luce's third classmate is Amity Blight, a competitive rich girl. Amity is proficient at abomination magic, where she conjures monsters from purple ooze. She comes from a prestigious family of clay molders, so she's under a lot of pressure to uphold that family image. Amity is initially hostile against Luce for being the local weirdo. And there's a bunch of scenes where Amity is hanging out with the bullies. She wants to be popular, but she doesn't want to be dragged down by the uncoolness of Luce or her gang. But over time, Luce helps Amity to manage her anxieties. Amity slowly opens her heart up to the tomboy. Before long, both classmates become the show's most defining feature, Lumity. Now, this is gonna sound spicy, but I gotta stay honest, and you're probably not gonna like it. This Amity and Luce romance is mid as hell. Yeah, I said it.
Bring back the funny kid!
Let me break it down. Back in my teenage years, I used to watch this show called Star vs. Evil. It was a Disney adventure cartoon about this magical girl and this regular Earth boy jumping between dimensions. A big draw to Star vs. was the will they won't they dynamic. The characters were endearing, the mysteries were intriguing, and the romance felt realistic. Well, as realistic as you can get in a series about magic and puppies with laser eyes. But unfortunately, the showrunners decided to prioritize petty romantic drama above everything else. After about Season 2, give or take, it went from a fun adventure series to a convoluted teen drama. Oh, and the romance between both main characters just became unbearable. Was this shift in direction the only reason for Star's downfall? No, but it was a major factor. That is why I'm apprehensive about romantic pairings in modern Disney cartoons. It's either bland at best, or it sucks the air out of more compelling ideas. Lumity shares some parallels to that Starco relationship I mentioned earlier. In Season 1, Luce and Amity transition from rivals to reluctant friends. Luce's compassion convinced Amity to reassess her priorities. Appease your peers who only care about vanity, or be a good friend despite losing your social status. This culminates in the Grom episode. Both ladies reveal their true feelings, defeat the monster together, and become soulmates. This subplot gave depth to Amity's troubled upbringing, and it blended seamlessly with the larger narrative. Season 2 cranks this romance up to an obnoxious degree. It feels like a damn obligation. Luce pines over Amity, the two share a kiss, etc. Oh, did I mention they blush their cheeks in every other scene? Look, we get it. They're happy. Can we just return to the plot? Lumity worked better when it wasn't stalling for time. Luz and Amity repeat the same "oh, you're so cute" routine ad nauseum. This is valuable screen time that could have been better purposed for Gus and Willow. The irony is that Luz and Amity work better when they're not busy making out. In the episode Reaching Out, Luz freaks out over the anniversary of her father's death. It weighs on her so much, it distracts her train of thought when trying to help the main gang out. Amity is like,
dude, I get it. We're all under pressure, but I'll always be there for you. Just lay it out for me, man.
if there was more of this, I wouldn't be so harsh on Lumity. Lumity is a fine subplot that quickly lost my interest. It didn't drive the show off the rails. I'm looking at you, Starco. However, it took the spotlight away from more entertaining characters, like this wizard dork.
Hello, criminals. What's about to happen should be relatively painless. Bye!
Hunter is the 16-year-old lieutenant to Emperor Bellows. In Season 2, he becomes a thorn at Team Ida's side. He starts off rather cold and sassy. After failing to capture Luce, he begins to question Bellows' morality. Hunter is my favorite character for a few key reasons. One, you kinda feel sorry for him. He didn't choose to be a witch cop, but all he knows is authority and following the rules. He has zero social skills with people his age. 2, he gets an effective redemption arc. Hunter reluctantly teams up with Luz and they learn about Bellows' dark past. Hunter's like,
yo, my boss might be ruthless, but he's not that bad, right?
Hunter!
He's that bad. After that mess, Hunter decides to bail on the Ministry of Magic and join the Weirdo Club. 3, he makes a great bond with Luce's wingman. Near the end of the series, Hunter helps Willow to overcome her extreme stress. So in this universe, if your stress reaches a high level, your magic abilities are gonna freak out. Later, he helps Gus to take a breath after suffering from a magic panic attack. Hunter and Gus become solidified dude bros. Lastly, Hunter refuses to let his past drag him down. He discovers that he is the clone of Bellows' dead brother. Yeah, that's kinda metal. Even worse, Hunter isn't the only clone. Bellows has a closet full of deceased clones. Man, this is kind of hardcore for a Disney cartoon.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
It jumped up a notch.
Yeah, I stabbed a man in the heart.
I saw that. Brick killed a guy. Brick, I've been meaning to talk to you about that. You should find yourself a safe house or a relative close by. Lay low for a while, because you're probably wanted for murder.
Despite all the shock, Hunter decides that being a good guy is actually worth it. With that out of the way, let's jump into the third and final season. In Season 3, the Owl Gang hits a bunch of roadblocks. Bellows has summoned a cosmic god upon the Boiling Isles to, cataclysmic results. King, who recently discovered that he's the son of a Titan monster, convinces the god to keep the citizens alive. He buys the Owl Gang a few months until Luce can return. Meanwhile, Luce and her Hexside friends find themselves stranded on Earth thanks to shenanigans. They spend months trying to open a portal back to the demon realm, but to no avail. At the same time, Bellows pulls a trick out of Voldemort's book. He plans to reclaim his throne, sap the life out of the island, and exterminate demon kind. Can the Owl Gang save the world in time? The third season consists of 3 one-hour-long episodes. A lot of fans were bummed that this was only going to be a 3-episode season rather than the usual 20 episodes, but I'm actually happy it went this route. The shorter episode count resulted in a much stronger finale. The pacing is much tighter, the characters are put to the test, and the final battle is freaking spectacular. It's probably my favorite cartoon ending since Gravity Falls. Whoa, I didn't even think that was possible. For one, the core trio gets a satisfying closure to their arcs. Ida learns to accept her beastly curse as who she is and decides to protect her adopted children at all costs. King discovers that he's the last of his Titan kind. Now for millennia, Titans were like super powerful magic beings who used to rule the demon realm, but eventually all the witches started hunting them down. King is like,
maybe being a boss under these circumstances isn't something I want.
he gets humbled and ditches his petty boss complex for good. Luce goes through hell and back to save her friends and family. She discovers her true desire, to be understood. Despite all the betrayal, the hardships, the hopelessness, Luce didn't give up and will do anything to save her coven of weirdos. The core trio finishes the story with a battle worthy of a Final Fantasy game. Holy crap, man. That final battle is freaking hype. Get this. Belos' corpse latches itself to the heart of the island. The Boiling Isles is actually the dying corpse of King's Titan father. If Belos can suck out the remaining life force of the Titan, it's game over, man. The Boiling Isles being the corpse of a giant monster, dude, they ripped it straight out Bionicle. God, I can't believe Disney ripped off Bionicle of all things. I bet Lego's pissed right now. So soon, Luce gets deleted, receives a blessing from the spirit of King's father, and is resurrected as Titan Luce. Luce's super form is hella cool. The black Titan fur, the golden demon eyes, the freaking purple hat. She'd make the blue blur jealous. Bye bye, Belos. The animators went above and beyond for this boss fight. Hell, the theme song gets an electric guitar remix. The trio defeat Belos, and by defeat, I mean they decapitate him. Is there any other show where you see the main characters stomp their foot into the bad guy's head? I can't think of any other show, or at least anything under TVY7. The last episode to the Owl House is on par with the last episode of Gravity Falls. I got to admit, that is one hell of an accomplishment. We got an ending that was grand, explosive, and all around satisfying. The epilogue was also really good. It showed how the demon world rebuilt their island. It's cute and it almost made me cry. If it's so great, why were the Disney executives so embarrassed by it? As you all know, Season 3 was tragically cut short. When the first season was airing, the executives hit the panic button. Disney Channel was losing viewers faster than a sinking ship. And it wasn't exactly the Owl House's fault. They were gonna end the show at Season 2. Thankfully, the creators hired some pretty damn good lawyers. They came to a compromise. Keep the final season under 3 hours. It wasn't the best circumstances, but the creators were able to end on a high note. Okay, let's wrap this up. If you couldn't tell by now, I freaking love the Owl House. The animation, the minimal amount of filler, and the fight scenes are all a sight to behold. Although, it's not perfect. I found the Lumity subplot a little repetitive and a little overblown. Some of the minor characters, such as Gus and Willow, get the short end of the stick. It kinda sucks that they had more development with the lieutenant of the bad guy than the main character of the show. How the hell do you do that? I love the core trio, the redemption arc for Hunter, and the explosive final season. Is it sad that it had to end so soon? Yes. Do I regret watching it for Halloween? Not one bit. We got a show that will definitely stand the test of time. Thanks for watching. Remember, no witches were harmed in the making of this video. Bye!
Bye!